Normally, I would never start a show with gas prices. We all know gas is very expensive, right? It's a boring, mindless daytime news story for the most part. But there is much more to this story tonight. Today, gas hit a new all-time record high price for the third day in a row, in fact. Never in history have you paid more for gas. $4.42 a gallon is the average. And please understand, this is being arbitrarily inflicted upon you by people who don't care about your budget, people with a clear-cut climate agenda, politicians who have donors who are heavily invested in green energy. And those wealthy Democrat donors attend events at the Met and the Kennedy Center. They summer in Cape Cod, they winter in the Caribbean, and they're making a fortune off of your misery at the gas pump. Their plan is working so well that I personally have two friends right now who are buying electric cars. And of course, that's the mission. Make you so miserable at the pump you have no choice but to buy their products. We saw this week this headline popping up at a very terrible time for Democrats. 3 oil and gas drilling leases in the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska canceled by Biden's Interior Department. These are the kinds of stories and headlines that they really want to keep out of the news. They don't want you to know that they're doing this to you on purpose, but of course they are. You can sell loads of electric cars and solar panels and pass billions more in green government spending bills with windmills and solar farms in it if we can just make oil and natural gas and other things like propane totally unaffordable. Today, the White House was asked about their scheme that is gutting America's lower and middle class. And like everything else, of course, it wasn't their fault.
The Department of Interior, they have put out some comments on this, and what they have made quite clear is that the Cook Inlet cancellation, which you're referring to, was due to a lack of industry interest, and the Gulf sales were as a result of delays due to a number of factors, including conflicting court rulings.
Big Red, ready for NBC, MSNBC. So there's two answers there, right? The first, a lack of interest. The second is a court ruling. They had two excuses for you today. We're going to examine both. As far as a lack of interest, Team Biden has done everything in their power to chill American energy production and then blame energy companies for not producing. They trash oil and gas for a year and then beg for more when prices get too high and their approval ratings plummet. There's nothing new there. We've talked about that before. Just pure political theater that happens to destroy your budget as collateral damage. As for the court ruling argument, Judge Rudolph Contreras put the dagger in the Gulf of Mexico leases, and the Biden Interior Department, as you might expect, was happy to not fight back at all. Contreras was an Obama appointee, and it all starts to make sense, doesn't it? Contreras just gave the Obama climate radicals who are running the Biden administration the cover that they needed to advance their agenda. Oh, it's a judge that said we can't do it. Darn. You know, we really wanted to because we hate those high gas prices. Darn that Vladimir Putin making our energy so expensive. They think you're stupid. They don't think Americans notice that they are frauds on the subject of energy. When the economy is healthy and gas prices are stable, what do? They scream about climate change and they scream about destroying fossil fuels. That's how they campaign. That's how they get the far left to vote for them. The moment, though, that the country faces actual adversity, like a pending recession, which we are teetering on right now, or they're desperate to win an election like the one coming up in 5-6 months, they go to Oklahoma or Montana, they put on a cowboy hat, and they talk about the importance of American energy. A perfect example of this, here is Obama, just 6 months before the 2012 election, proudly standing in front of stacked up oil pipelines, promoting American energy production.
Over the last 3 years, I've directed my administration to open up millions of acres for gas and oil exploration across 23 different states. We're opening up more than 75% of our potential oil resources offshore. We've quadrupled the number of operating rigs to a record high.
He's standing in front of oil pipeline that's about to go into the ground. Think about how hilarious that is in today's context. And the greater irony that the pipeline actually does make the air cleaner and makes it easier and better for the environment to transport oil than it is right now. Getting rid of pipelines actually pollutes the world more. Obama standing there in front of pipelines screaming about how important oil and gas is to this country. Of course, he was about to get reelected, and he needed to do that because it wasn't looking that good. It really wasn't. What do Democrats really believe on oil and gas? Well, of course, they believe nothing. They believe in one thing, satisfying their donors and getting reelected. That's really all they care about. Otherwise, they wouldn't fly around in private jets and scream at you about energy. They wouldn't be so hypocritical if they actually cared. On the recession front, the other big topic today, we saw Wednesday's 8.3% hike. We talked about that last night. Today, more bad news. Producer price inflation jumping 11% in April. 11%. The hits just keep coming, and yet Janet Yellen keeps her job, despite telling us all that inflation wouldn't be a problem a year ago and that her government should just spend as much money as they wanted to. Yeah, let's do the Green New Deal. Let's do it all. Let's spend the $5 trillion on the human infrastructure. Let's just spend crazy because Yellen told us with a cloud on top of her head that there was no inflation to worry about whatsoever. Very credible. Also today, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, a Republican, Jerome Powell, was confirmed again today. The same Federal Reserve that was completely asleep at the wheel, that ignored the warning signs and refused to raise interest rates until it was way too late. And now you have the situation we're in now, where everything costs 10% more. Everything in your life costs 10% more. You didn't get a 10% raise. These are the people that are responsible for it, by the way. Don't you wish you could be this bad at your job and keep it? It'd be nice, wouldn't it? But we shouldn't be surprised. Let's go back in time to our last recession, which of course was 2008, the Great Recession. Hank Paulson, running the Fed for George W. Bush at the time, told the world at the G7 summit, "Don't sweat the housing collapse. There won't be a recession." And then we went into recession for 5 years. So apparently the U.S. government has a long tradition of incompetence on this matter. So right now they're telling you not to worry. My advice would be you probably should worry.